Hey, it's Lyndsey Parker from Yahoo Music. I'm here on TVDoneRight.com to talk about American Idol. It was top 5 week this week. It was Then and Now, or Now and Then, however you prefer, which is basically they did a modern song and then they went back to Idol's old ways of doing some ancient song that the tweens don't know. So it was a little bit for the older demo, a little bit for the young demo, you know, grandmas and their kids could watch together. It was kind of a lackluster week. Even some of my favorites did not do so well. I'm looking at you, James Durbin. I love James. He's basically my favorite left in the competition. I really liked his first song, which was a 30 Seconds to Mars song, Closer to the Edge. I absolutely think that's his wheelhouse, to use the Idol judge speak. He should be doing songs like that after he gets off Idol. As much as I love the 80s metal and would love it for him to just do an album called James Durbin Sings the Songbook of Skid Row or James Durbin Sings the Songbook of Motley Crue, it's probably better for him to modernize himself a bit and go in that sort of like emo pop vein. He missed a few notes, but I, thought he gave a good performance. But then I don't know what he was thinking with his Then song, which was Without You, the Harry Nilsson song. It's actually a Badfinger song, but the Harry Nilsson version is the one we all know and love. It's kind of a song that's like a big diva song. It's kind of a song that if Pia Toscano was still on the show, she would have been doing. And he certainly has the voice for it, but he got all emotional for some reason. He's he's a very emotional guy. And emotion can be a really good thing. I mean, I've often criticized some of the other contestants, including Pia, and certainly Lauren Elena and Thea Magia, for not being emotional enough, for basically just singing robotically. So I like emotion in a performance, and I don't mind if that makes the vocal a little less than perfect, but I think it went a little too far in that direction with James, who was all over the place note-wise because he was so verklempt, because he was missing his wife and baby. So not the best performance from James. However, he obviously has a strong fan base because he did not so great performance, and he sang first, which is usually the kiss of death, and he wasn't even in the bottom 2. So I think he has a pretty good shot of making it to the finale. He was safe this week. Then moving on to Lauren, as I just mentioned, she did Unchained Melody, Simon Cowell, one of his favorite songs, and a song that we've heard on Idol like 18 million times. So I was hoping she could bring something new to the song and maybe a little country flair on it and, have a moment. She did not. There's a really big note in that song, like, I can't do it, but I'm not on Idol. I'm just talking about Idol. She didn't even try to do it. Or if she tried, she definitely realized she couldn't go there and she backed off, and it was very anticlimactic. Otherwise, her vocal was great. She is a great singer. I've always thought so. But, that song has so much longing in it. Like, it's a song full of yearning. I mean, it says, I hunger for your touch. And if you sing it right, that song can really move you. But I was not moved by Lauren's performance. The judges went very easy on her, but Jimmy Iovine basically said everything I just said. I actually liked Lauren's first performance, which was Flat on the Floor by Carrie Underwood. She's really good in that vein. Upbeat, pop, country. It's youthful, it's energetic. She looked great. She had this great, like, Farrah Fawcett blowout going on. The stylist did her right. She looked better than I've ever seen her. When she came out and did that song, which was actually her first song, I was like, this girl's in it to win it, yo! And by the way, that's my new drinking game. If I do a shot every time Brandy Jackson says in it to win it, yeah, I won't even make it to the first commercial break, so maybe that's a bad idea to do that on company time. Don't drink, kids, unless you're over 21, and then drink and watch Idol responsibly. So anyway, Lauren was hit or miss. Scotty as well, he's her biggest competition. He's a 16-year-old country kid. Really liked his first song, which was Montgomery Gentry's song, Gone. Again, upbeat, fun country. He had swagger going on. Steven Tyler said, you dance with the devil, to, right away Scotty replied with, no, I love Jesus, thus securing 1 million votes from the Heartland. So well played, Scotty. But I like it when Scotty dances with the devil a bit. His second song, which is Always on My Mind, didn't like it as much. Again, that's a song full of regret, yearning, emotion, and whether it's Elvis doing it, Willie Nelson doing it, even the Pet Shop Boys doing it, it's a song that really is a sad song. And, maybe these 16-year-old kids just haven't, as much as angst as we all have when we're teens, full of angst, maybe they don't have the life experience to really bring something to a song like Always on My Mind. He sang it well, though. And he wasn't in the bottom 3 this week, or bottom 2, and Ryan Seacrest actually revealed, after last week's random results, that Scotty's never been in the bottom, and I think he's the surest thing we have to a front runner. And I can't even imagine what he could do to not get to the finale at this point. But you know, we'll see. Moving on to, I'm already forgetting. We got 5 people, right? James. I talked about James. I talked about Lauren. Let's talk about Sky. Let's talk about Haley. Oh, how could I forget Haley? Haley was not my favorite going into this. If you see my idol board, which I had assembled at the day after the top 13 were announced, I had her in last place. She was in the bottom 2 the first 2 weeks she was in the bottom 13. When she even made it to the bottom 13 on that night, I was like, who is this girl? I thought Kendra Chantel was going to fill the cute blonde girl quota. But I was wrong about Haley. I think a lot of America were, considering how many times they voted her in the bottom. She really brought it this week. She's someone that, unlike Lauren, who sometimes gets very thin-skinned when she's criticized, Haley takes that criticism, she eats it up and goes, oh yeah, let me prove you wrong. She did an unreleased Lady Gaga song, You and I. It'll be on Lady Gaga's new album. And it's not entirely unreleased in the sense that we have heard it before. Lady Gaga has done it on a couple TV shows, and she's been doing it on tour for a few months. But, you know, the majority of America was a new song to them, so Haley was totally able to put her stamp on it. She did a great version, and then, of course, the judges didn't like it because they're all insane. Seriously, they're the only ones she came down on really hard, pretty much. And, well, no, they came down on Jacob a bit, and we'll get to him. But they really chewed her out about that song choice, which I thought was unfair, because first of all, kudos to Haley for taking a risk, and second of all, Jimmy Iovine put her up to it. He practically forced her to do it. But she took that criticism, she came back, she did House of the Rising Sun. It was House of the Rising Haley. You know, everyone, you know, she was in it to win it. Randy Jackson was like, Haley's in it to win it, best performance of the night. And even Haley looked surprised. She's not used to getting that sort of feedback from Randy. And it was the best performance of the night. The a cappella start, which was advised by celebrity mentor Sheryl Crow. Sheryl Crow, you earned your entire Fox paycheck for the week by suggesting to Haley that she do that song a cappella in the beginning. Really showcased her vocal tone, which is her biggest asset. So Haley, you know, she was safe this week. Haley is one of those wild card contestants, not actual wild card contestants, but she's one of those wild contestants where, kind of like Chris Allen in season 8, no one really at first thought he had a chance at the finale. Everyone thought it was going to be Adam Lambert and Danny Gokey. And then in top 3 week, he changed the game and he did Heartless, while Danny Gokey did some horrible version of a Terrence Trent D'Arby song that no one knows. And he slid into the finale, and he coasted on that momentum, and he ended up winning. Haley is that kind of contestant. She keeps this up when the chips are down, when we're down to the final 4 or final 3, doing performances like the one she did this week. She could get to the finale, and it would be one of the biggest, if not the biggest, underdog turnaround idol stories of all time. And then, okay, finally, so Jacob. He's the guy who went home this week. Not a huge surprise, not a huge shocker. I really liked Jacob at first. You can see I used to have him in the 3rd spot. He was one of my favorites. I really like contestants with personalities, and you can see all these people with great personalities. Paul, Casey, Naima, they're all gone. James is the personality plus, Mr. Personality. He's the only one that's left. But I knew it was Jacob's turn to go. I think a lot of people have been predicting that. I think he's got a great voice, a great personality. But you know, it was really hard to place where he was going to end up in the modern pop landscape, when the R&B that's out there right now is more like the Chris Brown, Usher, Jason Derulo type of stuff. That's so not what Jacob is. He comes from this gospel background, this Luther Vandross comparisons, and you know, I just don't know if that connected with the public. And also, he has a great instrument, but I do think he needs to learn to rein it in. You don't have to always sing shrill, high, crazy off-the-scale notes just to prove you can do it. Sometimes it's nice to hold back. I don't know if he could ever fit in the modern pop marketplace. When he tried to this week, he did a Chris Brown, Jordan Sparks cover that was bizarre. He did a cover of the duet No Air, taking on no parts. He's like, no air, no air. And it was like, what are you doing? It was very, very schizophrenic and misguided, and I think that's what did him in, because I actually think his cover of Love Hurts by Nazareth was actually pretty good. And an interesting take on that song. If he had done more of that earlier in the competition, taking classic rock songs, or just whatever rock songs, and turning them into this sort of gospel-inflected R&B, he actually might have gone further. At one time, I thought he had a chance to be the first R&B singer in 7 years. Let's count, 7 years to actually win. We haven't had a straight-up R&B winner win since Fantasia. And actually, what's interesting is season 2 and 3 were R&B winners with a lot of gospel background and a lot of gospel inflection. Ruben Studdard even released a gospel record, which was very successful in the gospel market. So yeah, the landscape of idols so completely changed. So that's what we got. These are the 4 left. Scotty, who, like I said, I think is a lock for the finale, but I don't know if he's a lock for the win, because I think anything can happen. It's a very unpredictable season. And I really think the other space is up for grabs. Lauren has had a lot of popularity all season long, but she faltered this week. And unlike Haley, who I think is someone who takes the negative feedback and turns it into a positive to fuel her fire, Lauren seems like the kind of person that this will really crush her confidence and she might mess up next week. But she still has a chance. Haley, again, I've explained, don't rule her out. James seems like a very good possibility. He did a not so great performance this week in the first spot, but he has a big fan base, so he made it through anyway, and he's had a pretty good string of performances. He's actually my favorite left in the remaining top 4, and you know, I'd love to see him kind of turn it around next week and do a little more like rock metal again. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be especially interesting when next week Lady Gaga mentors. Lord knows what Lady Gaga is going to do with Scotty McCreery. Is she going to put him in a meat dress? Is she going to put him in a red lace face mask? I'd pay good money to see that on the Idol Tour. So we'll see. I'll be back to talk all about it next week. Thanks for hearing me out. Until then, see you soon.